I thought it was time we did a seminar that's focused on the technicalities of lifting, because the bench press is also the exercise that causes, I think, the most injuries. Shoulder injuries, pec tears, elbow problems, wrist problems. Knowing the details and mechanics is going to be very useful. One big thing I want to make very clear about the bench press is that the bench press is either an arm exercise or a pec exercise. It is not both. So if you want to lift a lot of weight, you have to think of the bench press as an arm exercise. Louis Simmons, he said this, is a tricep movement, not a pec movement, not a chest movement. I think we can say, and it would be biomechanically correct, that the bench press is an arm exercise, not just a tricep exercise. When you're bench pressing to lift maximal weights, don't think about your chest muscles. That's exactly how they will tear off. You got to think about just your arms doing the work. Does not apply to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is the opposite. You got to think about the pec. The arm begins where? The bench press and arm connection begins in the hand. One of the quickest ways to increase bench press strength is increasing grip strength. If anyone wants to take up their bench from 2 to 5%, you'd need to double your grip strength. And this is statistically true. If you can increase grip strength, you'll increase bench press strength directly, very, very quickly. Squeeze your fist right now, and what happens? Everything along in the chain towards the shoulder gets tight. That tension is what's needed. That's how wide do I hold the bar. The legal grip, go down, is 81 centimeters. Those are these two rings. In competition, you cannot go wider than that. It doesn't work for everyone, especially if you've had pec injuries in the past. This could be really dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you've never had a pec tear and you don't really have shoulder problems, which is rare, this is the best grip to use. Now, squeeze the bar, squeeze it. Keep squeezing. You see the knuckles? Red, white. Blood restriction. That's how tight you need to squeeze. The distance. The first thing is we have to understand his width. Let's say that's your width. And now your optimal width will typically be this. His shoulder blade is off his rib cage, right? Now squeeze the back. That's it. That's your optimal width. The shoulder blades just have to come together. You will have the most stability on the bench press this way. The bigger your back is, the more tight the muscles are, the more stable it's going to be. If you're going to do maximal lifting on the bench press, you cannot take the bar out of yourself because you lose tightness. Because there's no way you're getting tight and then you're doing this and pulling back. You're going to lose it immediately because you have to push up. So the bar has to be glided out. You're going to push up and back. You're going to help the lift and push it out. Up. Now imagine it's 500 kilos. Up. You're pulling it out with your lats. Pull it out like this. That's it. Got it? Lats on. Got it? Now out. Again, do it again. Push up and back. Out. Lats on. Got it? Now out. Now where do you take it over the chest? There are two types of lifts. There's the J curve, which is probably the best for your shoulder health. If you want to lift the most weight, it's going to have to be a straight line. So pull it all the way out. 99% of the time, you want sternum. Now remember, when you're taking the bar down, you're almost pulling it down. Think about your lats now. One thing you never want to think about when you're lowering the bar are your pushing muscles. You're always thinking about your pulling muscles. So you land with stability. Okay, that again, think about it. Yeah, now that's better. What happened when he thought about his pulling muscles? His rib cage lifted up automatically. Try it again. Good. Okay, put it back. Got to have the legs in place, right? Because the legs are going to provide a lot of stability for the lower back and lats. You always want them back here. They need to be locked into a place. Yeah, that's how much. I lock them in enough where I feel a lot of pressure on my knee. Yeah. Legs are locked in. Your back is arched. How much of an arch do you need in your back? Hand should be able to go through. I don't like the idea of a flat back, but arch right there. Legs are locked in. Now push, squeeze, push up and back. Yeah, glide out. Lower, 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 lower. Good, and up. Now pull down. You're going to feel the back in a big way. And up. Okay, put it back. Remember this, the harder it is to lower the bar, the easier it is to lift the bar. So you never want to lower a bar like this, ever. You need to lower a bar like this, so there's a tuck. And then you can bring it back up here. Lowering it like this is a straight pec tear. Super, super important. When it comes to heavy lifting, train your light lifts like they are heavy, and your heavy lifts will become light. Your warm-ups, which has to be exactly like the lift, because that's what you're warming up for. The best guys, they start with a bar. I said, if it's hard to lower this damn thing, it's easy to lift. Second, the safest way to lift is the inefficient way to lift. What's happening is, most guys that will get stuck, they lowered it too fast and too quick. There's no technique, no. They just try to lower, lift up, and they don't get it. And the guys that do get the lift, they're very detail-oriented about the lift. That's why it takes months to master any big compound lift. And that's it. Thank you.